All right, and welcome into the BettingPros College Football Show. It's our Week 5 preview episode where we'll give you our picks and predictions for the top 10 games on the slate. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, and I'm absolutely fired up as all roads lead 45 minutes south of me to Happy Valley, where Penn State hosts College Game Day and the Oregon Ducks for the annual whiteout game. We'll certainly chat all about that matchup in the program, and to help me do it are a couple of high-level handicappers, including the big game hunter himself, Terrell Furman Jr. Terrell, how are you as fall is officially in the air?
Oh, well, fall came, and it came with the force over there in Utah. I mean, this is one of the best home field environments in all college football, and they just completely, utterly, totally got destroyed. And honestly, it doesn't even matter what I did the rest of the week, because I actually didn't have that bad of a week. But, oh, man, Utah, I mean, way to ruin the past 7 days for me, like, way to ruin that.
I'm sorry about your loss, Terrell. I tried to tell you, Barry Morton and company, they're frisky. They have the big paychecks and big pockets, and it certainly paid out in dividends for Texas Tech there on Saturday. Also back in action is Scott Bogman versus the world. What's going on today, Boggs?
Doing much better than last week, man. 5-2 on my show, 6-3. I gave out a couple conditional picks that were 1-1, but over 500 on the props too, so feeling much better. Texas is on a bye week. So I'm just sitting back, relaxing. I'm going to go to bed early after this Georgia, Bama, and Penn State, Oregon game to get up to watch our Steelers at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday, Seth. So, yeah, Saturday is going to be a jam-packed one, and I'm going to probably take sleeping pills at halftime of Bama, Georgia, so I can wake up because I am a night owl. I do not wake up early. So, excited for this weekend and to see some of these big matchups. This is a huge week. There's a lot of really good games this weekend.
It certainly is, and I'm excited to break it all down for you guys from a betting perspective. But first, I wanted to remind everyone that today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor over at Hard Rock Bet. Week 4 kicks off tonight with Seattle versus Arizona. Listen to these streaks from Hard Rock Bet, Stats Hub. You can get live odds bets on all of these streaks in the Hard Rock Bet app. Seattle has won 7 in a row against the Arizona Cardinals. Jackson Smith-Njigba has recorded 82-plus receiving yards in 5 straight games as an underdog, and Sam Darnold has rushed for 11-plus yards in 4 consecutive games in the NFC West matchup. So still, if you haven't placed your first bet on Hard Rock Bet yet, don't worry, it's not too late. You can place a $5 bet, and if it wins, you're going to score yourself $150 in bonus bets on top of your payout. Plus, tonight on Hard Rock Bet, you can also get a Thursday night parlay boost for the game. There are new promos out every single game. Boost your same game parlay or SGP Max tonight, so your bet pays out extra winnings. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. And gentlemen, let's go ahead and kick things off on Friday night in Charlottesville, where we've seen no line movement so far. Number 8, Florida State, they remain a 6.5-point favorite against the 3-1 Virginia Cavaliers, but the total has moved to 59.5 at most sportsbooks. On the injury front, Tennessee transfer and starting wide receiver for Florida State, Squirrel White, he's questionable after missing week 3 for UVA.
He's good. Back in practice yesterday.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great to hear that. And for UVA, right tackle Wallace Unamba, he is questionable for this game. BP projections have this line closer to 5.5, showing some slight value actually on the Cavs. So Terrell, are you rolling with your home state of Virginia here?
I am. I think it's a tough spot for FSU in here. 3-6 straight up, 2-6-1 ATS in the last 9 ACC road openers for FSU. They got a short week here, plus travel, playing on a Friday, so that's not going to help. And then you got a crazy look ahead coming up next week when they're going up against Miami at home. So you know that they're looking ahead to that spot there. Really big game for Florida State. And it's just this UVA offense looks really, really solid.
Yeah.
They have a really good offensive line that's been able to protect Chandler Morris, and I'll give Chandler Morris credit. I was not a believer, but he looks really, really solid under Tony Elliott here. 12-7 ATS in conference home games for Tony Elliott with UVA. Mikhail Boley, the left tackle, looks amazing, NFL talent. And then Brady Wilson is a really, really good center for him. He was dealing with the calf strain last game, but he's not on the injury report this week. It looks like he's going to be good to go. So they should have that offensive line really, really close to full strength there. And I think that's going to be something that's going to challenge the defensive front here of Florida. Then you could just attack that Florida State defense through the air. So I like UVA to keep this one close. I think that it's going to be a bunch of points, and UVA is going to be able to keep up that scoring that they've been doing.
Bogman, like Terrell, I really do enjoy what Chandler Morris has been doing this season for the Cavs. You talked earlier this week that if we could get Florida State around, 5.5 point favorite or so, you might jump on it. We haven't gone that far. It's now still at 6.5. Is that enough for you to get invested with the Seminoles?
No, it's not. I think at 7 or 7.5, I like UVA. I like UVA at home. I think all the stuff that Terrell said is absolutely correct, right? We have a look-ahead spot to Miami here. Also, this is Virginia's Super Bowl. This is their biggest game of the year. They're at home. They definitely are going to give you everything they have in a game like this. It's nationally televised, so you have a gigantic audience too. So I think we're going to get Virginia's best effort here. Also, something that I just haven't seen much anywhere, Tommy C rolled his ankle a little bit at the end of Florida State's last game. He says he's 100%. I just don't like a road game and a weird night and UVA getting up with a look ahead here. So I'm going to lean with Virginia with you guys.
Friday Night Dogs.
Yeah, you convinced me on this one a little bit, Seth, and Terrell, you make great points as well. So I do think, if both teams play the best football, Florida State's more than 2 touchdowns better than UVA. I just don't think they're going to do it this week. So give me the Cavs here, and I'll take the points. But that's a lean. It's not an official play.
Okay. Slightly off topic, but so my college, we were Division II. We didn't have a lot of Friday night games and not a really big tailgate scene until really my senior year when they started to allow alcoholic beverages.
Wait, you didn't go to Penn State?
No. I actually went to a D2 school here, about an hour or
Could've
two
fooled
from
me.
State College. But I wanted to ask you guys, if you had a Friday night big game like this, Florida State coming to town, are you going to class on Friday? Are you there, or are we pre-gaming as soon as we wake up in the morning? What's going on here?
I wasn't going to class when there wasn't a game, so no thanks.
Terrell, what about you? You going to class on Friday for a big game like this?
Yeah, man, I was studious. I was always in class.
Okay.
I can go to class and be a little, influenced and distracted and be perfectly fine. That's not stopping me. I'm going to class.
Wow, look at you. Always an overachiever over there, Terrell Furman Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Staying on Friday night, we've got a matchup in Tempe with Big 12 championship implications. No line movement on the spread. Arizona State still favored by 2.5 points over the number 24 TCU Horned Frogs. But the total is starting to creep up right now. It's around 56 points is where you can find it. On the injury report, we have TCU's leading rusher, Kavorian Barnes, who showed a lot of juice earlier this year, especially against North Carolina. He's going to be out of this one. We also have their starting kicker and 2 defenders on the 2 deep that are questionable. ASU starting defensive tackle, strong safety, kicker, and punter, all probable. Their free safety, Xavier Alford, he's questionable. And also starting flanker, wide receiver Jalen Moss, he's going to be rolled out of this one. BP projections have TCU favored in this one. Do you feel similarly and rolling with the Horned Frogs, Bogman?
I think with this one, I'm just going to stick to the over call that I had. And that's, again, it's a lean. This is not my favorite game, but I like the over here because both offenses are ahead of where the defenses are for these teams. They both throw the ball over 50% of plays. They both grade below average in pass rushing, but ASU plays at a slow pace. So it's not my favorite bet. This could be a look-ahead spot for TCU to get some revenge against Colorado next week, because remember the last time they played Colorado, obviously coming off the national championship embarrassing, they were embarrassed by Colorado as well. So there's a little bit of that there that I don't like for this game. I would probably take the home team in this one no matter what. So I'm going to pass on that as well. ASU just looks shakier on the road. They didn't beat Mississippi State. They look shaky against Baylor. TCU has had a bunch of penalty issues. I just think this game ends in a weird bounce, so I don't want to take a side, but I do think that we stack up points here. So I'm going to lean towards the over, but this is another one that I don't really like. I'll have plays, I swear, but I just don't like these first 2 on Friday that much.
Terrell, any official plays for you in this Big 12 spot?
Yeah, I love Arizona State here. I'm betting Arizona State here. Laying 2.5. I got the number over there. Shout out to Hard Rock Bet for having a 2.5 out there still. I'm not concerned. I think ASU is getting better as the season goes on, and they proved it last week against Baylor and handling Baylor as a dog on the road, and now you're coming back here and you're favored against a ranked team. And I've talked about that in years past. These unranked home favorites are really good against ranked teams. Since 2021, teams that are a home favorite of less than a touchdown versus a top 25 team, 65-31, 67.7%, 57-37-2 ATS as a favorite. Remember, so all those teams are favored 60.6% as a favorite in this spot. So again, another short week plus travel in this spot for TCU here. And then they dumped the Gatorade last week. That was the last Iron Skillet game ever. We don't have another one on the schedule. We don't know when we're going to see that. We're probably going to be old and crusty, and we're going to be talking about, oh, they're playing the Iron Skillet again. Like, they just got the last one, and that was after getting beat the way they did the year before. Like, they dumped the Gatorade. This is a crazy letdown for them after that. So, I'm out. And you got one less day. Absolutely. I'm all over ASU here. I think they get it done. The line is telling you who's going to win. ASU lay 2.5.
Okay. A reminder that you can track your bets, stay accountable, and level up by downloading the free BettingPros app. And with Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major books in just one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and of course parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. New users, you can score yourself 6 months of BettingPros Premium for free with your first deposit and wager at any of our partner sportsbooks, including Hard Rock Bet. Learn more at bettingpros.com/premium. On Saturday in the noon slate, it's a top 25 Big Ten matchup in Champaign. The number 23 Fighting Illini. They are currently 7-point dogs against the USC Trojans, who are coming in ranked 21st as well. Most shops still holding this steady at 6.5, but still can get a 7 if you want it. For injuries, USC's second leading wide receiver, Jacoby Lane, he's questionable. Illinois starting nickelback Xavier Scott still remains questionable, as does a linebacker in their two deep. BP projections have this at a 5.5-point line, so showing slight value on Illinois. Do you have a play for this game, Terrell?
Yeah, just give me the Illini plus the points here. I'm not all the way believer in this USC team. I think that last week was just one of those games where they just got absolutely steamrolled, and they were on the road, and it was a bad spot. Yeah, and it just kind of caught away from them. But now they're back here at home, beating them up. And you got the travel spot of USC all the way over to playing this game in Illinois. That's a tough. And so you're looking at all these teams, and it's on both sides. Like you saw Boston College and Stanford having to go all the way out and play that game. Like you see the travel in all the different leagues because of these super conferences, and you're sitting there looking and you're like, oh, wait, it is kind of hard to play a football game after, going through 3 time zones. So, yeah, no, I think that this isn't the spot here that I want to go and lay this amount of points with USC on the road. So I'll take a home dog.
Okay, Boggs, so Terrell is rolling with one of the OGs of the Big Ten, Illinois. Are you as well?
I'm going to go with the over in this game, and just a couple updates for you. Lane back at practice yesterday for USC. Xavier Scott surgery done for the year. So that's their best corner, like potential top 10 pick defensive back as well for Illinois. So I like the over here. We do get Jacoby Lane. USC is on fire offensively. They're 5th in points per game, 3rd in total yards per game, 7th in offensive grade, top 20 in every other offensive category from PFF except for run blocking. Illinois is they got to bounce back. This is the reason I don't really like a side in this game, although, again, like Terrell said, and like we do, I think you take points for a home team, right? A team that was ranked in the top 10 last week and got smacked. Now they're at home and they're catching points. Like, give me that all day. But I like the over here because I do think USC has a chance to control this game and potentially, score a bunch of points. This is what Lane Kiffin does, or what Lincoln Riley does. He, puts points on the board, but he allows a bunch of points as well. I just think Luke Altmaier is going to be able to bounce back a little bit as well. So I like this game to have a lot of points. specifically with Xavier Scott being down and Lane being back. USC let Michigan State score 21 of their 31 points in the second half as well. So even if USC gets up, they let teams come back. And I think also the other way around, if Illinois gets up, I don't know that anyone can really slow down USC to a huge extent. So I like the over in this one.
We also have a big one in Oxford getting underway at noon. Not much line movement with the number 4 LSU Tigers. They're still catching 1.5 points against the number 13 Ole Miss Rebels. But we did see one book in particular drop this by a half point. Injuries for this game include LSU's leading rusher, Caden Durham. He's questionable with an ankle injury. For Ole Miss, it's unknown whether it'll be Austin Simmons at quarterback or backup Trinidad Chimbliss, who did start the last 2 games in Simmons' place. BP projections surprisingly have this as far as a 5-point line, so they absolutely love Lane Kiffin in this spot. Do you as well, Bogman?
I like the under in this game. Another one, like, look, this is just going to be a tight game, right? I like Ole Miss kind of, like, if I'm leaning one way, I'd probably take Ole Miss at home. LSU is a team that Clemson win, we talked about this on Monday, Seth. That Clemson win does not look very quality right now. So their offense has not been clicking. The only team they scored more than 23 points against was Southeast Louisiana. But that defense, even Lane Kiffin talked about it this week. He said, this is the best LSU defense I've seen since we got here. So I think both defenses are going to play better. They're going to slow down the offenses, specifically Ole Miss defense against LSU. But I do think LSU's defense is going to stop this crazy attack that we've seen from Ole Miss. They've had a bad strength of schedule so far as well. So I think this is more of a slower moving. Nussmeier's not there yet. Like, if Chimbliss starts, do we see him taken out for Simmons? Or if Simmons starts, do we see him taken out if he's not performing well? So I think there are questions for both offenses in this game. And that LSU defense is for real right now. I just don't know if the offense is. So I really like the under 55.5 in this game.
Terrell, you certainly have a complicated past with Lane Kiffin, and this is a guy that we just heard in a preview of the feature Ryan McGee was doing on him this week, that he wants statues built around him. He wants to leave a lasting legacy at Ole Miss. Well, this is the spot you do it. So can he come out on top against the top 5 ranked Tigers?
I mean, it's the reason they haven't built statues already, and it's because haven't won. I guess you got to win to get statues. This is not really a fate of Lane Kiffin, but more of a fate of the defense. And I just don't trust the Ole Miss defense. I think the Ole Miss defense is bad. We saw them go toe-to-toe with that Arkansas team, and Arkansas was just getting no resistance and constantly be able to put up points and kept that one a game. I think that Nussmeier can do that here. And we've seen him play on the road. I understand that we're talking down on the Clemson game because it does look a lot worse now, and I'll give you that. But I think that this is going to be a tough test for Ole Miss to go up against LSU's defense and to try to go put points. So maybe we'll see some resistance, whether it's lack of talent on the LSU side or the excess of a talent that they have on the defensive side. But I do think that this is going to be a little bit of a closer game. And I'm actually on LSU side of this. I think that they're just rolling right now. This is the revenge season where Brian Kelly's like, hey, we're finally going to make this work. We've finally gotten off to a hot start. Let's try to keep this rolling and go on the road and beat Lane Kiffin. And I'm sorry, Lane Kiffin in big games just doesn't.
Which coach do you dislike more, Terrell?
Wow, that's actually really hard. Yeah, that's actually really hard.
At least Lane Kiffin has a personality.
Yeah, I was about to say, and Lane Kiffin is a man that cares about the spread, and that's one thing. You can't really do nothing here. We're basically
no fake
at a pick 'em
accents
here.
either.
Yeah. So I think I hate Lane Kiffin a little bit less, but it's because I respect him that I know that I don't trust him in this spot. So give me LSU in that team.
All right, let's get to the 3:30 slate, and we'll get it jump-started in Johnson County, where the number 11 Indiana Hoosiers are holding as 7.5-point favorites on the road against the Iowa Hawkeyes. On the injury report, IU has RB3 Lee Beebe Jr. and 2 players in the secondaries, 2 deep, who are questionable. Also, Iowa's leading rusher, Jazoon Patterson, he's out of this one. We also have RB2 Xavier Williams and their second leading wide receiver, Seth Anderson, both questionable. BP projections set this line at 6.5. That said, Terrell, will you again dare to fade the almighty and the powerful Sig Sagnetti?
Yes. And we're about to argue. We're about to argue. Let's just go ahead and open it up. Like because I know you guys are on Indiana in this spot.
100%.
But I need you guys to understand. When is the last time that Iowa has lost by this margin at home? You haven't seen them lose by this number since 2022 when they played number 4 Michigan. In fact, if you look at the team total for Indiana, no team has put up 4 touchdowns.
When was the last time Illinois got beat by 53?
What?
What was the final score in Indiana-Illinois last week?
Yeah. I mean,
when was the last time Illinois got beat that bad?
I think that we could find more times that Illinois have gotten blown out than you could see an Iowa team at home play bad defense. Like that doesn't happen.
Sure.
That doesn't happen. And Ferris has been there for a million years now. Like, he's locked into this game. He understands how this game goes. This is a great home environment. They're going to be waving to the kids after the first quarter. They're going to be all the way locked into this game. I don't know how Iowa only plays one-score games, especially at home. Even when they lose one-score games at home. Like, you got to go all the way back. Look, I mean, to almost the start of the NIL era to get some type of bad loss by Iowa at home here. I think that they're going to play some really, really good defense. They're going to get a lot of pressure up front on that Indiana offensive line. And we've been talking about Heisman all week. And Mateer goes down, and everybody's like, who's going up for Heisman next? And what happens? What is the jinx that's been happening this season every single time? It was Lenora Sellers.
Oh.
It was Mateer. Boom.
Arch.
Who's next? Arch in the beginning? Yes. Who's next? Like, it's literally who's next. Like,
this is a Heisman curse? Are we calling it?
Heisman curse this year. Iowa gets it done, plus 8.5. I'm sprinkling on the money line. I'm actually shocked that you guys, I mean, I know Six Ignati's going to give you a game, and maybe they even win the game outright. But Iowa does not lose by double digits. This is almost a double-digit spread. Iowa does not lose games like this at home. They barely even lose at home.
Well, Boggs, I'll give you the floor first,
Okay.
man. Go ahead.
We talked about it on Monday. I haven't changed my stance. I think Indiana is trying to make statements every single week. I think that's what they do. I think that's why they kept pouring it on here against Illinois. And, of course, I'm going to back them here. The one time I backed them this year, they didn't beat the spread against Old Dominion. So just beware. I understand
I'm
that
trying to tell you.
There are teams where I could be a fade. And, listen, Terrell is trying to tell me. But, I mean, I think that Indiana has become a team, and I don't think we can look at them like we have in the past, right? They're just a different squad now. But I think this is a team that is only going to lose a game against a roster that is much better than theirs. And in terms of roster strength, this is 13 for Indiana and 57 for Iowa, right? Like, I just think that I just think that Indiana is rolling right now. I think Cignetti wants to make statements. I think he wants to break the trends that have been happening in the Big Ten, where it's just Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State, and now that Oregon's in there, those are the teams that can beat up Iowa. Nobody else in the Big Ten can. And traditionally, those teams haven't even beat up Iowa at home. I understand that. I get it, but I really don't care about trends. The trend that I saw last week was Indiana just thumping a very strong team in Illinois, and I think Iowa's worse than Illinois. I don't think they're as good as Illinois, and I think Indiana's going to come in here. Maybe they're a little too arrogant, maybe they're a little too confident. I get it, but I think this is going to be a 2-touchdown win. I think they're going to win by 14 here. So I'm going to take Indiana and lay the points, even on the road against a tough Iowa team, because of the way they've been playing.
Fellas.
Special teams.
Yeah, but Cignetti pays attention to all those details, just like Ferentz, except for he does it on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Ferentz doesn't do any offense.
To no one's surprise, lighters in the air, baby. I'm smoking cigs inside this weekend. Look, I'm down on the Indiana all minus 6.5. I got that boosted at one of our books as well, and because I do agree with you to a point, Terrell. Iowa's tough at home. They're always waving to the kids. This is a rowdy group out there. But I will say, I think Indiana's run defense being the 20th best in the nation, plus Iowa's leading rusher Patterson being out. We don't know if Xavier Williams is going to be out there as well. I think that's going to hurt. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball particularly well. And, if you watch that Friday night game last week against Rutgers, I've seen nothing from this Iowa defense that tells me they're going to be able to stop Fernando Mendoza. I don't care about the curse. I care about a guy who just went out, put up almost 600 points on a
If
top
Mendoza
10
looks
ranked
bad,
Illinois
though,
team.
we have to admit that Terrell is right about this Heisman curse.
Yeah.
And we have to fade whoever the Heisman favorite is after
Yeah.
this week if Mendoza is bad this week.
Yeah.
I will admit that for sure.
Yeah.
I can't. We've seen the Iowa defense go out there and make the best teams look elementary and force them into an ugly game. I know Iowa's offense isn't good. I'm never betting on their offense when I'm betting on Iowa. This is purely a defense is going to be able to get this done. This is an ugly game, some type of 17-13 type of game.
Ooh, man, it could be. I mean, look, stranger things have happened, right? That's why we watch the games, but I think Indiana's on too high a level right now to get stopped.
I'm going to keep backing them. Let's go ahead, though, gentlemen. We've got another Big Ten matchup out in the Pacific Northwest where the line's actually moving in favor of the Washington Huskies, where the top-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes went from 8.5-point favorites at most books down to 7.5. Ohio State should be at full health coming off the bye. Injuries for Washington include their starting linebacker, their starting slot wide receiver Rashid Williams, and their cornerback Tacario Davis, who would be the one to cover Jeremiah Smith. They're all questionable. We also have nickel Dyson McCutcheon. He will be undergoing season-ending surgery on that shoulder. So BP projections, once again, do have a slight lean to the home dog. Is that where you stand, Terrell?
Yes, I am with the home dog here. Give me Washington plus the points here. +8, +8.5, wherever you get it at. Again, Ohio State's coming all the way over here, and everybody wants to get on the old Pac-12 teams, but the old Pac-12 teams are the teams that are balling when you look across all the conferences. And I think that this Washington team is going to be able to go out here and get up. And, well, of course, Stanford's not a real team.
Or UCLA.
But we have this. You don't want to talk about Arizona State. You don't want to talk about Arizona. That's going out there and playing.
Fair.
Like we've got Oregon. Like we've got a lot. And you may know about Oregon this week. We'll talk about it a little bit. Since we want to be shady. But seriously, I'm over here and I'm looking at this Washington offense, and I just think that they're going to be able to compete, man. I think they're going to go out there. The fact that they can perform under pressure, they have a great passer rating under pressure, and I know that pressure is coming when you play this Ohio State defense. So the fact that I can trust them when things start to get ugly in the pocket and be able to still deliver throws and make plays is really, really big in me. And then saying he doesn't have a lot of tests. Like you got the early part of the season, you got that big game and you got through it, okay. But you didn't look the best in that game, and now you're going to go play a UW team that is really kind of licking their chops right here and they're at home. I don't know. I don't want to back him in this road spot here, so I'll take the points.
Boggs?
The more I look at this game, the more I hate it, right?
Wow.
I think gun to my head, I would lean towards taking the points as well for UW at home. But I'm just going to stay away from this one. I think there's too many little things in this game that I don't like. Number one, the first thing Terrell mentioned, the travel, right? All the way across the country. First big road test for Sayin as well in a weird, tough environment at UW. I don't like the fact that Washington's strength matches up with Ohio State's strength of the defense versus Washington's offense. So I don't like that for the Huskies because their strength is to score a bunch of points and win by leaning on the points and forcing you to pass. They're not going to do that to Ohio State. So I think Ohio State wins. I think this is a low-scoring, gross game, but because of one of the first things Terrell said, neither one of these teams has been tested, right? Like, strength of schedule is bad for both of them. We had
Ohio
the one
State
really
hasn't
tough
been
game.
Tested? They had Texas.
They played Texas.
First game of the season.
They played Texas, but their offense only put up 14 points in that game. So this is another road game. But I also don't think, it's not fair because Washington's defense is no one's Texas defense, right? Their offense was bad, so whatever. But I don't know that either one of these teams has been properly tested yet. I know Sayin hasn't been tested on the road, and I don't know what he has. So I'm just going to skip this game altogether. Okay. No bet for me.
I don't have any props because I don't have anything that resembles an Ohio State Buckeye in my house or anywhere near my house. But I am going with the Buckeyes here on the alt line, -6.5. Got that to -119 boosted. And Look, man, like I just don't think Washington, even at full strength with a 62nd ranked passing defense against a 127th ranked strength of schedule, nonetheless, will be able to keep up with Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Inniss. Like, this is an elite group of wide receivers. Heartline's going to have him dialed up here, 2 weeks prepare. And, Terrell, you're always, kind of fading these young quarterbacks in big spots. I get Sayans on the road here. But Damon Williams, this is his just second Big Ten start. How'd that first one go for him? Well, he got blown out facing Oregon last year. So I'm just running away from it, man. Like, I'm running away from Washington. I'm going to hold down the fort here with Ohio State. I think they're as good as they can be. So it's Ohio State for me. Let's go ahead, though. Let's shift to Texas Station, where we see no line movement on the spread. The number 9 Texas A&M Aggies are still favored by 6.5 points over the Auburn Tigers, and the total is starting to push up a little bit, where 53 points is available if you want that under. In terms of injuries, though, Auburn's starting cornerback, Jay Crawford, he's questionable. A&M's linebacker, Scooby Williams, he's questionable. Free safety, Bryce Anderson, he'll be out after a really, really scary collision there against Notre Dame. BP projections are, again, shading towards the underdog, putting this line at 4.5. Boggs, will you remain fading the Tigers despite hearing this?
I don't really want the side. I think I would actually take the points because this is like the ultimate A&M letdown spot of now that everyone thinks they're a national title contender because they win and beat Notre Dame on the road. Now they lose this game. That's an ultimate A&M move if you ask me, but I am completely biased. But I like the over in this game. This is all about the Texas A&M defense to me and the way they've been playing. They're at home here, but the low points allowed is 22 points to Utah State, 24 to UTSA, and then 40 to Notre Dame. Maybe 2 weeks to prep for this Auburn team improves the defense, but the Aggies grade 124th in tackle grade. The only P4 team worse than them is Northwestern. That's it. Nobody tackles worse than Texas A&M outside of Northwestern in the Power 4. Tigers are playing with a chip after being hosed on a few calls last week. Jackson Arnold hasn't been bad, but when is he going to really start connecting with these weapons? If he does it here, we're going to go way over this total. But I just think that this A&M defense keeps giving up points to teams that are way worse than Auburn on offense. So I think they're going to score. I think Auburn's going to be able to score. So I like a high total in this one. This is one of my favorite ones of the week.
Would you consider potentially a team over on Auburn as well, just because I don't think we really know what A&M's offense can do against a pretty good defense like Auburn. I mean, obviously Notre Dame's defense is cheeks.
I don't hate it, but I'll say, like, I just don't know what is Jackson Arnold going to look like in College Station, right? Like, That's a tough place to play, and he didn't look good at Oklahoma last week. So I'll probably avoid team totals, but I like the over.
Terrell, so we know Arnold does have just a bevy of weapons at his disposal. He's got Coleman. He's got Singleton Jr. as well. Will that be enough to put him over the top here against the Aggies?
No, not at all. I have to tell you, I'm very, very disappointed here. This is what we like to call a drain crusher spot. Auburn gave everything they had in that game last week. They took the lead. They took the lead.
They did. I was sweating.
And immediately, touchdown given up. I think it was 6 plays. Immediate touchdown given up. I mean, this is... A&M went on the road. First of all, they got the bye afterwards. We're not worried about the Notre Dame game. That's over and done with. We've partied enough and we've had enough. We are locked back into football right here. Elko's going to have this team ready. I don't think it was more of the defense of Texas A&M, and I think it was more of the offense of Notre Dame. And the offense of Notre Dame was really, really good, and Texas A&M went out there and made plays. Texas A&M makes a lot of big plays. What does Auburn have issues doing? Stopping big plays. That's why Baylor was in that game against them in the first game of the season, because they could not stop big plays. Why did they lose that game last week? Because they couldn't stop big plays. Like, I think that you go out here and you have this Texas A&M team that is rested. You have an Auburn team that is now going back-to-back road spot to Texas A&M to play this game after having that game against Oklahoma the week before and Arnold playing against his old team and all of that. It's too much. It's way too much. You're going to look up, and by the time you get to the fourth quarter, it's going to be a 3-score game. Give me Texas A&M. I am all over Texas A&M. I think Auburn will have some fight in them, maybe for 3 quarters. But by the time we're in that 4th quarter, it's over. Texas A&M is already rolling. They're covering. I like them laying 6.5.
They have 28 points by the time they give up? That's all
what?
I care about. Do they have 28 points by the time they give up? I think they might.
Does Marcel Reed enter the Heisman conversation here if they have a
He's going to be next week.
Yeah.
He's going to be the next week guy, right?
Because I think this is a pleaser situation. If you told me you took a 6-point pleaser here, Texas A&M laying 12.5, they win by 2 scores,
Ooh.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that. So
Interesting.
maybe Reed is the favorite next week, and then I'm looking to fade Texas A&M when they go up against Mississippi State. But we'll see.
All right, well, if you want a chance to score this signed Alvin Kamara Saints helmet for free, courtesy of our friends over at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either A, download the Betting Pros app, B, leave a review for the Betting Pros podcast, or C, subscribe on our socials. We're at Betting Pros on X and TikTok, and at Betting Pros NFL on the Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you're going to receive. And we will be announcing a winner right here on the program, so make sure you ring that bell so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize if you are that lucky winner. Let's head down to the land of my people in Starkville. The line has moved to a point where Mississippi State, they are now 7.5-point home dogs against the number 15th ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Last week, Tennessee had all 3 starting defensive linemen and 2 starting cornerbacks out against UA. We have no update right now on if they will be up for this game. Mississippi State, meanwhile, they have their starting linebacker, Darian Goulet. He is questionable after missing week 4. BP projections are really liking Tennessee in the spot, putting this closer to a line of 9 points. Boggs, do you have a play in this SEC clash?
I tell you what, the more I look at this game, the more I kind of like a Mississippi State money line here. And
so
I'm at least going to take the points. I don't think that plus 240 is worth it on a money line play for Mississippi State against Tennessee. If it got a little bit better, I would, but I'll splash the money line a little bit, maybe a little bit more than a sprinkle just to see. But I think the one thing that Mississippi State has shown that they do really well, and again, this is early in the season. Their strength of schedule isn't great. It's been Arizona State and a bunch of nobodies, right? But they have played in pass protection very, very well. The coverage is great at Mississippi State. So they're 18th in 10-plus yard passing plays allowed. They've only allowed 1 passing play over 30 yards this season. So I think you see a lot of those explosives that we've seen from Brazil and Aguilar and all these guys kind of mixing here. I think those are just lessened a little bit. They've thrived off those big plays Tennessee has. 54 plays of 10-plus yards, which is tied for 4th in the country. I think this is where they're going to get slowed down. I remember Stockton didn't look good until he played Tennessee, and Shapen's already on fire. So I like this one to be kind of a point-for-point shootout between these teams. I love this home field advantage that we saw from Starkville against Arizona State. They've already kind of been a little tested there. Obviously, Tennessee just lost a close one to Georgia, so they really need this game. But this is a tough road environment. I'm at least taking the points with Mississippi State. And like I said, I'm going to splash the money line on Mississippi State just to see. So kind of a way riskier play there. Like I said, I don't really love it at plus 240, but I think there's a chance for Mississippi State to win this one outright.
Terrell, you missed it on the early line show this week, but I said if I ever had to go to an SEC school, I think I would go to Mississippi State. They're more the blue-collar working class of the Southeastern Conference. So these are my people.
Don't get Terrell on Mississippi again.
But we should also point out, because we didn't last episode, but 2 episodes ago when I had my Mississippi rant, there were Mississippians that were in the comments that were agreeing that there's nothing there. And all their people go and outsource their talents elsewhere. And so with that, I mean, they have nothing else going on. you might as well show up for the Tennessee game. What else is going on around that time and anywhere near Stark Vegas? Like, come on. So I'm all over Mississippi State here. I take them plus the points. I'm going to fade this Tennessee team going on the road. You got Aguilar, first game on the road. And I think this is kind of a little bit of a spot for them. Like, this is a really big game, and you're trying to set yourself right, and you're still, like, 2 weeks removed, you're still kind of feeling that Georgia loss. Like, you're still really kind of feeling it. Now you're going on the road. And like Boggs said, the defense for Mississippi State's been playing really solid. They haven't been allowing big explosive plays, but guess who has? Tennessee. Guess who can create big plays? Mississippi State, 4.32% big-time throw percentage, opposed to Tennessee only at 2.42%. So if I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it and I think, hey, this Mississippi State team just needs a couple of throws, couple of the ball to bounce their way a few times, they can find themselves in the game. But to get an outright win, they just need the ball to bounce their way a few times. And I already was down on Tennessee overall this year. So if they take an unforetold loss here, I wouldn't be surprised. So, yeah, give me this Mississippi State team to get it done, plus the points. Sprinkle on the money line.
Hey, I'd be here for with it, man. When Nico was still on this team, I got a really nice plus money Tennessee under 9.5 season win total. So I don't need much to get us there, but a little bit of an upset here in Starkville would certainly pay forward towards that bet. Next up, we've got the whiteout in Happy Valley, where the number 3 Penn State Nittany Lions remain 3.5-point favorites against the number 6 Oregon Ducks coming to town. Not a ton of injuries to note here. Oregon starting running back Noah Whittington. He remains questionable, but is expected to play after missing last week's contest. Penn State mostly fully healthy coming off the bye here. BP projections have this closer to a pick'em and give the Ducks a 61% chance to cover this spread. Terrell, are you rolling with Dan Lanning and company coming into Happy Valley in a massive road spot?
All right, Seth. Like, if they lose this game, like,
earmuff, Seth.
Like, you've got at this point. And now I'm learning you didn't even go there. You really gotta reconsider the fanhood.
I worked there. Does that count for anything? I worked there out of college.
I guess.
I got a small retirement.
What's the record?
I
don't even have it. What's Chase Franklin record in big time games again? 0-1,000,000. Like,
yeah, it's not great.
I think it's 4-20.
Gee, come on. How are we? I want to sit here and say that Dante Moore is going to be like a deer in headlights when he goes into Happy Valley and he sees the sea of white just overtaking everything, and he goes out there and there's a few turnovers. The offense doesn't look as good. This is going to be the real first push. I really haven't. I mean, Oregon's been playing all year. They've been dominating all year, and I haven't liked anything I've seen from over there. It's just a little bit of pit in my stomach that says, don't trust Oregon when it gets to a big game. But I know not to trust James Franklin in a big game. Seth, I'm going to support you. I will, because I like you. Close your eyes.
We are Penn State.
Take Penn State, but I mean, if Landon comes out here and outcoaches Franklin, I'm not going to be surprised. And if people want to listen to this and fade it because I don't sound confident in this pick, I don't. I will never sound confident in a James Franklin pick. But unfortunately, the travel spot is a big spot. I really do think that this Penn State team is pretty good. They're looking for blood from last year. So if they're ever going to win finally a big game, I guess now's the time. But, yeah, Boggs.
Look, I was right. 4-20 is against top 10 teams is James Franklin's record. So everything in my gut says Penn State wins this game. They're at home. They're coming off a bye. It's a whiteout. It's a night game. Hostile environment. You had your guys come back that could have gone to the NFL for this game. So I'll pick Penn State. But I am picking Penn State with the exact same confidence that Terrell has.
Never mind. I'm changing. I'm going Oregon.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm not sweeping.
Please.
I'm not letting us sweep Penn State.
Please.
There's no way. I was really hoping Boggs would change his mind.
How do you know who I'm picking?
I'm going Oregon.
yeah. BP says Oregon straight up by slightly. I think
BP doesn't even trust James Franklin.
A lot of the systems I've seen are taking Oregon too. But like I said, every other factor outside of James Franklin pass says Penn State should win this game. I will not bet it with my money or your money or anybody else's, though. I will watch this game, and at the same time, I'll be putting my game in the Georgia and Bama game. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay. All right. Well,
I think if you lose this game, well, because people don't fire coaches anymore. But like,
no, don't do that. It's not.
No, because look, because what is the end goal here? Is it just to be a really solid team every year and
to win in the playoffs
and to give your fans that little bit of hope? If he loses this game, you know you're not winning a championship. Like, that's not happening.
It's a long season.
It's a long season.
You could say the same thing last year about Ohio
Dog,
State.
we're gonna come if he loses this game, we're gonna come back in the playoffs and have this same discussion. And then he's gonna lose that game.
I keep hearing this saying though, like, if not now, when? If not now, when? Like, what do you mean?
I think I'm the one who started.
Sometimes it's never. Sometimes it's just never.
Sometimes it is never.
I'm so out on Penn State. Yeah, I'm definitely on Oregon.
Man.
So for me, fiance out of town this weekend. Got the boys coming in. Looking forward to this one. A lot of beers will be drank. A lot of darts smoked on the porch in anticipation for this one. I am taking the Penn State team alt line on the over 24.5 points. I got this minus 110 boosted. I think this is the play here. Penn State, while we do have question marks about how their defense will hold up against Oregon because they have not played anyone, that was my biggest concern when we talked on Monday about this game, Bogman. We've played bottom-level FBS teams, a bunch of FCS teams coming into this one, but Penn State has hit this total in 13 of 16 games last season and 3 of 3 games this season. I also think they have 2 weeks to get prepared. We know Kotelnicki is one of the best play callers and scheme preparers in the entire country. I think give him 2 weeks to prepare for this Oregon defense. He'll have something up his sleeve. I don't know if it's a trick play. I don't know if it's getting Pena a little more involved than he's been lately. I don't know what it is. But I think Penn State does score points in this one. I think they get over that 24.5 points. So that's where I'm going on this one. I don't have a play on the official line, though.
I kind of want to flip to Oregon now. I'm gonna stick to Penn State.
Okay, all right.
I hate this game.
Well, I wonder where the betting public is. Like, is there a lot of people that are going out there and putting money on Penn State?
No info available yet on anything. So.
Interesting. I would love to see where that is on Saturday.
It hasn't moved. I'm gonna guess it's towards Oregon. Just.
Yeah.
I have to assume it's towards Oregon. Like, people have to believe it now.
Dante Moore's first big game too on the road.
I bet it's pretty split, man. This line has not moved at all since it opened at 3.5, and it opened earlier last week too. So I just don't think this is one going in one way or the other. I'll tell you right now, every time I get on a sports book here in Pennsylvania, it wants me to bet this game. It is telling me most popular, game bet in your area right now. It's Oregon Penn State. So I can tell you a lot of money from this particular part of the state coming in on Penn State, but across the nation couldn't tell you where it's going. Let's go ahead, though. Let's round out the program in Athens, where we've seen zero line movement in this game this week as well. Odds makers currently have the 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs as 2.5-point favorites over the Alabama Crimson Tide, but the total is down to 52 flat as well. Some positive news for Alabama on the injury front. They welcome back running back Jam Miller and defensive lineman Tim Keenan, who are set to make their season debuts on Saturday. Meanwhile, Georgia's right side of their offensive line banged up. They got Juan Gatson and Ernest Green III, both questionable after not finishing the game against Tennessee. BP projections have this as a stay away as they're right on the offered line. So, Boggs, do you have a play in this spot, or is this another one where, hey, let's kick our feet up, let's take that sleeping pill and get to bed early for that Steelers game the next morning?
My favorite bet of the week is going to be the over.
Wow.
On this Georgia versus Alabama game. And you and I spoke about this on Monday, right? And I said, I think I'm leaning towards the over. And you asked me which question. Do you remember, Seth? What is the pass rush grade?
Yes.
For the
terrible.
Dogs?
Terrible.
It's 128 or 126 out of 136 teams. And I was watching PFF a couple days ago, and they offered this stat, right? That Georgia's been getting pressure, but most of their pressure has come at over 3 seconds, which is not good. If we cut this to how many pressures that they have had that are under 3 seconds, they are tied for the lowest total in the Power 4 with UCLA. Neither one of these teams is putting pressure on the passer at all right now, and I think both these defenses are beatable. So I like the over in this game, and I think we saw what happened last season as well, with Ryan Williams going crazy in the second half. Milroe's not even a big-time passer after Georgia got the big lead, and Stockton didn't look good at all until they played Tennessee. So I think Stockton has found his rhythm. I think neither one of these teams is putting pressure on the quarterback at all. I think it's going to be a high-scoring back-and-forth affair. So give me the over here. I would lean towards Georgia. The history of Kirby Smart it's just too much there, specifically at home. But yeah, I really, really like the over in this game.
Scott, bet the total. Bogman back in action. Terrell, do you have a play for this one?
Yeah, give me Georgia. Get it done.
Money line or ATS?
I mean, ATS, money line, everything. They'll cover the number. I'm still at a point where, at what point, what has DeBauer showed us on tape that says that we want to take this Alabama team right now? This Alabama team is just no. This is somebody who I had as a national champion. I said this was the bounce back year. There is no part of me that wants to back Alabama right now. I think that right now they are broken. I think that the morale is low, especially when it comes getting around to big games, because they do this. This is what they did last year. Yeah, they go beat up on ULM. Yeah, they go beat up on Wisconsin. But when they play somebody with some actual substance, somebody that actually sits there and says, hey, I am going to coach this game, I am going to go out there and battle, they get a game every single time. They even let Georgia back in that game last year. So exactly. I'm just not a believer in DeBauer anymore. I'm actually kind of out on him and this Alabama experience, and I'm going to wait for him to prove me wrong. So until then, give me Georgia.
All right, let's go ahead and get out of here on best bets of the week. Boggs, is it that total that you just gave us?
Yeah, it's that one, man.
Okay.
I really like the lack of pass rush. Now, maybe Tim Keenan's a huge addition for Alabama. So maybe him coming back makes a big difference on this line, but I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a high-scoring back-and-forth affair. I think both teams are going to put up points. So that's my favorite bet. I'm sticking with it.
Trell, best bet for the week?
I'm going to take you to Friday. Let's go ahead and get in and out early. Give me Arizona State, laying 2.5 here at home. I think they're going to get it done. It's a rule game. You got an unranked team going up against a ranked opponent, and they are the favorite. Vegas is telling you this Arizona State team is the side. Everybody's going to be running over trying to get plus money with TCU. I believe Levitt, this is the game where he gets it going on the ground, and they are really, really able to just impose their will on this TCU team. It's a big letdown spot for TCU after winning the Irish Skillet last week. And Dillingham, great coach. I think he's got this ASU team rolling. I think they're still one of the top teams in the Big 12, so I will take Arizona State laying 2.5.
Okay, for my best bet, I've got a 2-pack of bets, one in the futures market. And we talked about John Mateer just going on this absolutely crazy journey that he's been on here in Oklahoma, that he looks like to be the guy for the Heisman. Well, it turns out not too long after we recorded that episode, he is undergoing hand surgery. He will be out for the foreseeable future, at least a couple of games here. So I think it is time to take a serious look at Haynes King, 30-1 to win the Heisman. Georgia Tech will be favored in 7 out of 8 remaining games. They have a clear path to the ACC championship game. He is second in the ACC in rushing touchdowns with 5 in 3 games played. The Georgia Tech community, you guys have been great online. I tweeted this out a couple days ago. Y'all been fantastic. So, consider me here an honorary yellow jacket, because I'm also taking the Georgia Tech minus 13.5 against Wake Forest. Wake barely beat Kennesaw State in week 1. They lost to NC State by 10 last week. They allowed 205 rushing yards in that game to the Wolfpack. And in week 1, they also let the Owls quarterback Dexter Williams run 14 times for 44 yards. I think Wake's defense will not be able to keep up with Tech. Tech is 18th in yards per play this season on offense. And when you look at the other side of this, Wake's offense, they're 103rd in yards per play. So I don't think they can keep up with them any way, shape, or form. So they last played in 2023, when Georgia Tech won 30-16. I expect even a bigger margin between these two teams on Saturday.
What were you gonna say, Terrell? I know you don't like this.
He's buttering up to the Georgia Tech fans. That's all. I tell you what,
he
was buttering them up.
If Haynes King wins the Heisman, this is going to be the most replayed clip that we've ever had on the show, right? Like if that happens, we're gonna have Seth with his Alfonso Ribeiro dance here. So yeah, I think we're gonna have that everywhere. But look, there's long odds. I did almost put Georgia Tech in my parlay, so I like that pick.
All right, well, there you have it for this episode of the Betting Pros College Football Show. It's still to come later this week and every week right here on the BP YouTube channel and the audio feed. Boggs' best bets, including player props and our parlay picks. Let us know down in the comments below your favorite Week 5 picks. And while you're here, make sure you're smashing that like button for more Haynes Kings takes and subscribing to the channel if you're new. For Scott Bogman and Terrell Furman Jr., I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.